Sleep is not just rest. Sleep is not laziness. Sleep is not something you do when you have free time. Sleep is a biological repair system. Every day, your body produces waste. But your brain produces something even more dangerous: toxic chemical buildup. And here's the scary part. Your brain cannot properly clean itself while you are awake. During deep sleep, the brain activates a cleaning process that removes waste and resets important systems. This is why people who sleep poorly for long periods have higher risks of depression, anxiety, heart disease, diabetes, and even memory decline. So before we even talk about 7 days, understand this. Sleep is not optional. Sleep is maintenance. Now let's begin the experiment. Imagine you stop sleeping completely. No naps. No just resting. No short sleep. You stay awake for a full day. After 24 hours without sleep, most people can still walk, talk, and function. But the brain is already impaired. Your reaction time becomes slower. Your focus becomes weaker. Your mood becomes unstable. In fact, many studies compare being awake for 24 hours to being legally drunk. And that's why drowsy driving is so dangerous. Because you don't just feel tired. You become inaccurate. By the end of day 1, the warning signs become obvious. You start making simple mistakes. You forget small things. You lose patience quickly. You crave sugar and junk food. And the most dangerous part is this. You may feel confident. You may even feel like you have extra energy. But that's not strength. That's your brain running on stress hormones. Day 1 is the warning stage. The real collapse begins on day 2. Now you reach 48 hours without sleep. 2 full days. This is where most people start changing emotionally. You become irritated by small things. You may feel sudden anger, sudden anxiety, sudden sadness. Some people cry for no reason. Some people feel panic. Some people feel rage. And this happens because the brain area that controls logic becomes weaker, while the brain area that controls fear and emotion becomes stronger. So your emotional brain starts controlling you. By day 2, memory becomes unreliable. You may forget what you were doing, repeat the same sentence, or read something and instantly forget it. It becomes harder to plan, harder to concentrate, harder to think clearly. This happens because sleep is when the brain saves memories. Without sleep, it's like your brain keeps writing information, but never presses the save button. Now something dangerous begins. Microsleeps. A microsleep is when your brain shuts off for a few seconds. 1 second. 3 seconds. 10 seconds. And you may not even realize it happened. Your eyes can be open. You can be standing. But your brain goes offline for a moment. And if you are driving, working, or walking near danger, a microsleep can kill you. Day 2 is when sleep deprivation becomes truly dangerous. And day 3 is when it becomes disturbing. Now you reach 72 hours without sleep. 3 days. This is the stage where hallucinations can begin. You may see shadows moving in the corner of your eye. You may think an object is a person. You may hear your name being called. You may feel like something touched you. And it's not because you are crazy. It's because your brain is exhausted. Your brain can no longer process information correctly. So it starts guessing. And those wrong guesses become hallucinations. By day 3, time becomes confusing. 10 minutes can feel like 1 hour. 1 hour can feel like 10 minutes. Your brain loses its rhythm. Speech also becomes harder. You may forget simple words. You may start a sentence and forget what you were saying in the middle. You may feel like your thoughts are slow and broken. This is your brain losing coordination. And now comes one of the most frightening symptoms: paranoia. You may start feeling like someone is watching you. You may feel like people are talking about you. You may believe something bad is about to happen. And the worst part is, you feel sure. Sleep deprivation damages the brain's reality-checking system. So the brain becomes vulnerable to fear. Day 3 is when reality begins to slip. Day 4 and Day 5 are when reality breaks. Now you reach Day 4. Around 96 hours. At this stage, the brain starts doing something unnatural. It begins to dream while you are awake. This happens because your brain is forcing sleep in small pieces. So you are awake, but parts of your brain are asleep. This creates waking dreams. You may see faces. You may hear voices. You may feel insects crawling on your skin. You may see patterns moving on walls. And it can feel completely real. By Day 5, hallucinations can become delusions. Hallucinations are when you see or hear things that aren't there. Delusions are when you believe something false with full certainty. At this stage, a person may believe someone is trying to poison them, their family is fake, or they are trapped in a simulation. This is why severe sleep deprivation can look like psychosis. And this is also why sleep deprivation has been used as torture. Because it doesn't just weaken the body, it destroys the mind. Now the body begins to suffer heavily. You may experience shaking, nausea, headaches, dizziness, blurred vision, and chest discomfort. Stress hormones like cortisol rise. Blood pressure rises. The immune system weakens. At this stage, even a healthy person can collapse physically. But the final stage is even worse. Day 6 and Day 7. By Day 6, the brain can barely stay awake. Microsleeps become longer. You may blank out. You may lose awareness mid-walk. You may drop objects. You may forget where you are. You may not even recognize people properly. The brain is shutting down in pieces. Not because you want to sleep, but because the brain has no choice. Now the risk becomes serious. Sleep deprivation increases inflammation. It raises stress hormones. It increases heart strain. This raises the risk of irregular heartbeat, fainting, and dangerous collapse, especially in people who already have hidden medical conditions. And the immune system becomes weaker. Your body becomes less able to fight infection, less able to recover, less able to stabilize itself. So what is the real conclusion? Can you die from no sleep? Direct death from sleep deprivation alone is rare. But the indirect dangers become extreme. Accidents, heart strain, immune collapse, mental breakdown, and dangerous decisions. And here is the scariest truth of all. When you are severely sleep deprived, you stop realizing how impaired you are. You feel fine. You feel confident. But your brain is broken. So if you ever feel guilty for sleeping, remember this: sleep is not laziness. Sleep is survival. Without sleep, you don't just lose energy. You lose your reality. Sleep isn't optional. It's life.
Subscribe Info Beyond Borders now for more mind-blowing knowledge.